What's going on, guys? Love Smash, back with an all new video for you guys today, and it's been forever since I said this, but in today's video we got a new Mortal Kombat related video. Yes, Injustice 2 has come and gone. We got the reveal of the Fighter Pack 1, the recent reveal of the Fighter Pack 2, and the upcoming Fighter Pack 3, which will eventually close out the game once all that revealed. But relating to the video today, what happens after Injustice 2, and that is Mortal Kombat 11. And with this brings our first, well, maybe not first, but a leak slash rumor, whatever you want to call it, that's actually been gaining some traction over the past few weeks. Now, it came out about 2 weeks ago. Really, it was just one of those, you know, somebody says, well, I'm just going to throw it out there, how every leak and rumor starts. I'm just going to throw my info out there. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Bing, bang, boom. Here's what's going to happen in the game. So a few days ago, we got more information of this guy. His name is Righteous Hall 04, supposedly claiming that he knows inside information from a DM from Twitter who works for NetherRealm, who provided him with the game's, part of the game's roster, concept art, stuff about the fighting system, things that he is claiming is going to happen in the upcoming game, which he is saying is coming for 2019. Now, all that's well and good, but the reason I want to talk this about is not because I believe this guy, because as I always say, with every leak and rumor, you got to take a bit of grain of salt, so on and so forth. But I've been itching to talk about Mortal Kombat 11 for so long. I did actually, a few months back, an MK11 speculation video. If you guys did not see it or new to my channel, did not catch it, I will drop the link in the comments and description below. And I've been really fiending. I actually had an upcoming MK11 video I was working on that I was looking to maybe do sometime this week or next week. But with this leak gaining so much traction, fans talking about it, Twitter kind of going a little and kind of just discussing it, it builds the hype. So that's why I like to talk about supposed leaks and rumors. But like I said, until we see things with our own eyes, we can't bank on them being true. But it is fun to build the speculation hype and discuss ideas and certain characters that may be included or people want to see or don't want to see, so on and so forth. So that's the reason for this video today. So it started out from this guy named Righteous Hall 04, goes on Reddit and says, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. Here's some information relating to the game, which I'll discuss with you guys right now. Then a few days later, put out more information because supposedly stuff was getting misconstrued. So here we go, starting off with the first part of the leak that took place 2 weeks ago, stating, quote, "Don't care who believes this or not, drop it in here anyway. From credible friend on Twitter DMs that knows NetherRealm Studios people. Leaked the roster for MKX back in February of 2015 on his personal website. Have at it, folks." Just like any leak and rumor you see for any fighting game shows up. But here's the information. Raiden's the main antagonist. Base roster planned to be around 30 characters with 10 as DLC. Plot borrows elements from Deception and Armageddon. Characters that I've seen lots of artwork and rendering for include Kano, Li Mei, Noob Saibot, Nitara, Boraicho, Johnny Cage, Shang Tsung, Jade, Taven, Dagon, Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Frost, Kenshi, Kotal Khan, Jax, and Onaga. So for those of you guys wondering why I went with the MK Deception in the background of my video, that's the reason why. Characters that died in MKX are not coming back for 11. Non-playable characters in story mode are returning. Story mode will again be chapter-based, but longer than any previous ones. They're bringing back variations and brutalities too. Game should be out by spring 2019. So a lot of information to take in here. A guy basically claiming, here's the roster size, here's some characters I see some artwork for, and a few tidbits here and there on the gameplay, and that was it for about 2 weeks. Until about 3 days ago or so, he closed it out by stating, "That is all I know at the moment. Hope that helps, bro. Now get off my dick about it." Smiley face. Very charming. So here's what he put out 3 days ago. Okay, first off, let me clarify some things that you may be taking the wrong way. The plot, as far as I understand it, is borrowing certain elements from Deception and Armageddon, not retelling them fully. Secondly, the characters I mentioned were from early concept stages before they had been ironed out the final roster. Last I heard, the roster had been fully decided and the entire team is now at work on the game as of 3 months ago, with previous early conceptual work being done by a small team since the beginning of the year. As far as the roster goes, 6 new characters, 17 returning from MKX, and 7 returning from previous games. To answer another one of your questions, only 6 characters on the roster from the PS2 era games: Kenshi, Boraicho, Frost, Li Mei, Dagon, and Onaga. The others I mentioned are going to be used, but will unfortunately be story mode only, so non-playable characters or cameos. And lastly, what I find the most intriguing part about newcomers. All I can tell you about the new characters is that I've only seen art for two of them, Dominic and Selena. Selena is a dream goddess that apparently has psychic abilities and can create things out of thin air and use them as weapons. Dominic is Kano's son and is part of the Red Dragon with Dagon. Supposedly, he hates his father. Now, it's interesting because at the end of Kano's ending in MKX, you see a glimpse of him beating his own son and basically torturing him for his survival methods and to teach him to be like Kano. So it's interesting for two reasons. Kano's part of the Black Dragon, his son hates him, supposedly, if this is all really true, and joins Dagon in the rival clan of the Red Dragon. Now, as far as the Red Dragon members, it was really only Dagon, Suhao, and Mavado, and if you didn't read the MKX comic, spoilers, Suhao and Mavado are killed, and we see Dagon at the end of the comic with Goro talking to him to regrow limbs, and there's the secrets there, and he brings him Kenshi as a payment in order to regrow his limbs. So that was, I mean, his arms actually, he has his legs, I just should say his arms after they were torn off by Kotal Khan in that fierce battle in the comic. But that's interesting to know because that's where the comic left off. And speaking of that, it's going to be intriguing to see if they have like an in-between of MKX to MK11 and they have a comic book series that takes place the events in between. That would be pretty awesome. So Sean Kittleson has a lot of work ahead of him if he does end up getting put on to do that. But back to this whole leak, rumor, whatever. The character of Selena sounds really interesting to me. I think that's a pretty cool concept of a character who can create things out of thin air and use them as weapons. That's a really intriguing character. Dominic as a character, if indeed true, is pretty cool to see more lineage like we've had in MKX of older characters with Cassie, Jackie, Kungjin, and Takeda, like relatives and offspring of well-known iconic MK characters. Seeing that continue in MK11 would be pretty awesome. But now let's discuss the 17 characters. Well, he said 17 or so were going to be returning from MKX. Now, a few things there kind of made it a little fishy because first he said that and then he was like, let me clarify, there's 6 characters from the 3D era and here they are. But as you know, characters like Kenshi and Baraicho appeared in MKX. So is that kind of like backtracking, or is that him more just trying to explain himself? I don't know. It makes things a little fishy for me at least. But one thing that stuck out to me is that he mentioned Natara and Taven being on that list of characters he saw concept work for, then found out and went, nope, they're going to be non-playable characters and appear in the story. And that's interesting because Taven and Dagon are brothers. Rain is their half-brother. They played that big role in Armageddon. And Natara actually played the role in Onaga getting resurrected, where Reptile was the host body for Onaga to return. So it makes me think about, where's this story going to play out if it's true? Is Reptile yet again going to be a host for Onaga? Is he somehow just going to appear? Is another character going to be a host for him? And that's how he's going to come back? Also, Shijinko was a reason Onaga ended up coming to be. Where's he going to play into this? So a lot of things and unanswered questions here, but there are always ways they can turn this story, if it is indeed true, and make it a reality. But just a few things I wanted to throw out here and there for those MK lore buffs. But up to the characters he mentioned in the first league. Now, for a total of 17, 2 of them being newcomers and the other 15 being returning, we still have a lot of space to fill up, because he's claiming here's 30 more characters on the base roster, another 10 coming as DLC. So out of 6 newcomers, 2, here they are. What are the other 4 characters going to be like? That's going to be cool, because I loved all the newcomers for MKX. I thought they were really all awesome, and NetherRealm was really going in the right direction, as opposed to previous games where many of the characters didn't really become fan favorites and catch on. But I really loved a lot of the new additions to the game, especially the lineage characters, and of course Aaron Black became one of my favorite characters to see up until his reveal. Then we have the rest coming as returning characters, but one thing I found interesting is that there's no mention of Sub-Zero or Scorpion. There's mention of Raiden, there's mention of all these other characters, but we have no mention of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, the 2 poster boys for MK at all. So I found that a little odd, just figured I'd throw that out there. But looking at the characters right here, I did notice that 3 mystery characters are added to his list. Now, I say mystery characters, talking about Shang Tsung, Jade, and Noob. Now, they're mysterious characters because we don't really know what happened to them after the events of MK9. We didn't see him in MKX, we heard hints here and there, but nobody fully knows what happened. We know that when it came to Shang Tsung, his soul was taken, he was put in the body of Sindel. Sindel went on the warpath, killed everyone, and then she died after Nightwolf sacrificed himself, but we never heard from Shang Tsung ever again. Does that mean he's somehow going to reform and come back? Then we also have Jade, who was a revenant in Quan Chi's undead army after she was killed by Sindel, but she did not appear in MKX. Of course, Katana had her mournful variation for Jade, but we never got an explanation of what happened to her. She was just gone, but every other character that was a revenant in MK9 was there. So what happened with Jade? There's been a lot of speculation based on her ending in MK9 that she somehow, this mysterious woman, is either related to Jade or is Jade, or something to do with her and is going to play like a big part in the game's story down the line. That's been a big speculation between the fans, so that's with Jade. And of course, Noob being kicked into the Soul NATO by Nightwolf and disappearing, we really never got an official confirmation if Noob did in fact die. However, he was hinted at in an intro between Sub-Zero and Kung Lao and MKX that he's still among them somehow. So very intriguing to see those characters on the list. We don't know if they would be part of the game's base roster, which maybe they will be. Maybe these characters will be DLC. He didn't specify, but as we've seen with DLC and MKX, some characters did appear in the story mode, like Tanya and Baraicho, and they were playable in MKX's DLC, but then we have characters like Goro and Triborg who didn't, and then lo and behold, they were added as DLC. So you necessarily don't have to play into the game story to be classified as DLC, so we could definitely see those characters return at that point. But it brings up an interesting notion about DLC, because if we're going to get 10 characters, that is a hell of a lot. So expect to see a lot of MK characters. Fans have been hoping for Rain, fans have been hoping for Fujin or Serena, or a lot of the Revenant characters, even though he's claiming that none of the dead characters from MK11 are going to come back, but maybe he was just referring to like Baraka or Melina or Quan Chi, who died in the game's story. But an interesting notion about DLC is that we've seen what NetherRealm has done with MK9, Injustice 1, MKX, Injustice 2 now. They like to add off-the-wall, unexpected characters, such as Hellboy, such as Scorpion, or Sub-Zero or Raiden in Injustice, or Leatherface, or Jason, or Freddy, or Alien and Predator in MKX, or MK9, Freddy's, and Kratos being in MK9 as a PS3 exclusive. What can we see in terms of that? Fans are wanting to see Michael Myers, or Ash Williams, or Pinhead, or Pumpkinhead, or of course Spawn was a really big one, or a Watchmen character like Rorschach, or maybe like a console exclusive again like Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal, or Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War, or Rick from Splatterhouse. Who knows? There's so many potential options, but most likely NetherRealm will go ahead and include some of those characters because the answer is very simple. They make the most money. They appeal to a bigger audience than a Mortal Kombat character would. If you're putting an MK character in there, you're appealing to few fans here and there, but more the MK community. But if you're including really like relevant pop culture character like Pennywise from It or something like that, that's going to sell a lot higher than an MK character would because it appeals to a bigger audience of people. You know what I'm trying to say. But there are a lot of characters that fans do want to see return from MK lore, so hoping to see those maybe some point down the line. But just looking at the roster of the characters he mentioned, as we could see, we're missing a lot. No mention of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, no concept art seen for Raiden, Katana, or Liu Kang, Kung Lao, a lot of big names, Takeda and Kung Jin, Devora, Ferrator, Aaron Black, Triborg even. A lot of mysterious things to go by here. But hearing things like Raiden being the main antagonist and just speculating and thinking maybe the Jinsei is overtaking him too much and becomes evil and he goes on a warpath against everybody and everyone tries to stop him and it leads to Dagon appearing, you know, Naga comes back and all these major forces coming together with Kotal and Liu Kang and Katana and Cassie and the whole gang, and it leads to Armageddon and Blaze shows up. Who knows? There's so many possible ways the story can go, but it gets me so hyped because we have leaks and rumors like this that pop up. Whether they're true or not, it just builds hype. Like always, one of my favorite parts up until actually the game comes out is just speculating and trying to figure out where the direction will take, what we can possibly see in the future, and that's why I'm excited to discuss this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about this? Do you guys believe it? What do you like about it? Do you not believe it? What do you hate about it? What do you think will happen in the game's story? What characters do you want to see return? Who do you not want to see return? Anything you guys want to mention, please feel free. But anyway, that is the video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And like always, for all the latest fighting game news and speculation, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon with a brand new video.